above it then.
Hi, I'm Stephen McCall from Noise Engineering, here to show you some of the new modules I am demoing this year at NAMM. First off, I'm going to demo an old module. The Oscillator is a digital drum synthesizer. It produces a very wide variety of drum sounds. Analog inspired, but a lot of digital character as well. I'll just kind of go through some of the possible sounds it can make. Okay, this is available now.
What's the price on that?
$333 US. The next module I'm going to demo is the Numeric Editor. You may be familiar with the module I released last year called the Numeric Editor. The Numeric Editor is the Numeric Editor's nerdy cousin. It produces rhythmic variation by treating rhythms as binary numbers and then multiplying them. I'll just turn the knobs and turn on the other instruments. Let me go back. Okay, so in the bass level, all four rhythms are playing the same rhythm. You turn the knob and you get variations on each channel. It's really playable. You can just move around in rhythms, all sorts of variations. You can also change the bass pattern. Okay, the Numeric Editor should be available within a month or two. Retail will be $222 US. Okay. Next module is the Variadic Irruption. It is a burst generator. It's a very simple concept. You hit it with a gate. Let me change that back. This guy a little more interesting. You hit it with a gate, it produces a burst of gates. You can control how many gates are in the burst. There's a built-in LFO to control the speed, so you can speed it up. The LFO is actually 1 volt per octave, so you can, in fact, tune it. You can also use an external clock, including odd clocks, like, say, a woggle bug, if you want something a little less quantized. There are 2 independent burst sections, and there's also there's an end of sequence out. And
so that you're just using that to trigger a different...
You could, absolutely, yeah. Like right now it's hooked up to another drum. You could use it to trigger off another gate burst or any other external trigger. You can also choke the bursts if you want to cut them off. Both of these switches are, of course, available in jacks. It's just a little easier to demo with the switch. And that's pretty much him. Oh, one other little thing. There's also built-in patterns, so you can get kind of variations in the burst, just to give it a little different. So it's just not just that, but the. Okay.
So and when will that be available, and what's the price on that one?
Price is a little uncertain, probably around $250. Should be available, I'm hoping, May. A little bit, there's one more rev we have to do on it before it's ready to go. Next module we're going to talk about is the Mimetic Sequence. Like a lot of my modules, it's a small size, a lot of utility, focus on often like live performance situations. Okay, so I have out of the Mimetic Sequence patched into the Oscillator, which is what you're hearing. The Mimetic Sequence outputs CV. It's essentially a CV recorder and a multi-pattern CV recorder and randomizer. You turn the knob and it randomizes the pattern. The more you turn the knob, the more random it gets, both in terms of the probability of randomness and also the kind of randomness. On the far left, it'll stick to things closer to fifths, octaves, more musically neutral things, and then all the way to the right, every note it changes completely. once you have a pattern you're digging, you can then copy the pattern to the other 3. Let me back up one little. You can select between 3 patterns on the front panel with the switch. If you have a pattern you like, you can duplicate it to the other 2, and then produce variation easily by randomizing. And go back to the original. You can also use this as a CV recorder and sample and hold. And there is an expander, which allows all 3 patterns at the same time out without having to switch between them. And then it has 4 randomly produced gates, which are randomized along with the pitch. But they're independent, but they are randomized anytime you randomize it. So you can produce all sorts of random rhythms. Okay. So 2 more oscillators coming out this year. The first one we'll talk about is the Sync Gator. It's 4 HP, 23 octave range. It's meant to be both a VCO and an LFO. The range is available. This is an encoder, so you can actually go down all the way. It has adjustable waveform. Let me actually get the audio going. Okay, basic waveform. Sine wave. This knob allows you to change between sine, triangle, square, saw, back to sine. At the halfway point, this becomes a wave folder of sine, so you get a lot of the wave folding timbres as well. It's bipolar and unipolar, so it's great for, once again, LFOs. And it has a built-in 12-tech quantizer. Also, there are 2 other oscillator modes for producing different kinds of noise. The first one is a very, in some sense, I guess it's a bad noise. It has a lot of character to it. It's what's called a lattice noise, which allows you to easily control the spectral bandwidth of it. And so this knob, as you turn it to center, will give you a much broader spectrum. And then just like the waveform to the right, it goes into a wave folder, so you can get super, super crispy. The second noise mode is less characteristic and more of just kind of a generic noise. The noise used in this is a really good noise for LFO. It has a really well-defined structure and time, so it's great for just noise LFO. Okay, one other oscillator that's coming out this year is the Numeric Editor. I'm gonna switch it on. Okay, the Numeric Editor is a digital oscillator focused on algorithms that take 2 different pitches or 2 different oscillators that interact with each other. 2 of which are kind of like, in some sense, like lost algorithms because they were published academically and they never really came to much. I think the best word that I've heard to used to describe this oscillator is just nasty. It produces a wide variety of highly textured, very digital tones. So this is a summation synthesis mode. I'm going to switch to the VO synthesis mode. It's currently being driven by 3 LFOs, and I'm also tweaking the knobs just to get the tonality more where I want it. The VO synth mode produces a lot of like home spectra, and a lot of just a wide variety of like kind of vocally woody tones. And then the final mode is phase modulation, which is just gnarly, edgy noise.
Really interesting tones out of that.
Yeah, it's. I kind of consider. I call it like a sound design oscillator. It's all about producing a wide variety of timbres. It of course tunes 1 volt per octave musically, but it's all about crazy tone variety. And I think that's what I'm going to show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.